Alright, so I just got a package from Sony. I couldn't wait to open it, and I do apologize for the audio quality. I'm recording on my iPhone because I just couldn't wait. And inside of this is the DualSense controller. They did send me an early review copy. So for this video, I'm just gonna open it up, check it out. It's just gonna be unboxing. I will do a video later on for a full review where I'll go through all the details. But let's check this out. And here it is, the PS5 Dualsense controller. Sorry, I should say Dualsense Edge controller. And the box itself is larger than what you get with a regular Dualsense controller. Of course, this comes with a lot more items, as you can see here. Here's everything it includes. So there's quite a few items here. That's a pretty long list. Only compatible with PS5, so this doesn't work with a PS4. All the highlights listed here: ultra customizable controls, mappable back buttons, all the DualSense features, haptic feedback, advanced adaptive triggers are all built in. It looks to be the same size as the DualSense controller. And this is a big one for me, the replaceable stick module. So if you get stick drift, you don't have to replace the entire expensive controller. You can just replace the stick module, which is pretty cheap. Alright, so let's go ahead and break the seal on this. And this is, it seems to be an outer sleeve, kind of signature Sony packaging. And here's the inner box. Just a plain white with the PlayStation logo on it. So we open this, swing it open, and I kind of like how they did this, similar to the Xbox controllers. So you can kind of keep this box for storage. And here is the full package, all bundled up in a hard-shelled case. Yep, this thing's gonna protect your controller and all the accessories pretty well. It's all hard shelled, finished in white. We got the PlayStation logos right here on the bottom. PlayStation logo right here on the top. Swing that open, and here it is, the DualSense Edge. I'm gonna go to the controller in a second, but let's look at all the accessories we're gonna get. So on top here is a charging cable, and this is a USB-A to USB-C. It does look to be pretty premium in terms of quality here. So you can charge your controller using this cable, but the case is also a charger as well. On the back right here, you can fling this open and actually scratch that. The case is not a charger like the Xbox Elite controller. So all it is a hole. So you put your cable through the hole and you can charge your controller while it's in the case. But it's not as good as the Elite controller, where you're actually plugging in a cable into the case. And here's all the little extra accessories. We got some trigger buttons right here. We got some joysticks right here that are replaceable. And this right here looks to be, actually, I don't know what this is. And to find out what it is, I have to actually look in the bottom here, because hidden here is a user manual. So right here, yeah, it's a connector housing. It basically just locks the cable in place, so you know it's not gonna detach. Basically, that's all it is. And here's the controller, and it's pretty much feels the same as a DualSense controller, which I guess isn't a bad thing. It's the same sort of dimensions. In terms of weight, it might be a little heavier. It's actually not too big of a difference, just slightly heavier, which, I mean, I wasn't expecting that. I thought this would be a lot heavier, but it's not a big difference. And in terms of the size, you can see it's pretty much the same. I mean, people that don't know about the DualSense Edge, they would probably just think this is a regular PS5 controller. I also like this detail right here on the touchpad. You can see all the play buttons it has on it, which looks pretty cool. Now this, of course, the D-pad isn't replaceable. These buttons here are not interchangeable. The stick modules and the sticks can be changed. It looks like you... Oh, all right, yeah, so they just pull out, and then you can attach the different ones. Wow, this doesn't seem to be as easy as the Elite 2 controller, but it does work. I mean, yeah, once you get used to it, it's pretty simple. But yeah, as you can, oh, that just fell out. So you can see that, yeah, these are, I mean, does this even lock into place? I don't know. I think I gotta oh, there we go. It clicks into place. So yeah, it shouldn't fall out. The trigger buttons right here. Let's see how these go in. And there we go. It's not too difficult to put these in. But I would say the Elite controller ones are easier. But these aren't too bad. Here we got the, looks like this controls the resistance on the trigger buttons here. So that's a full movement, partial, very little. I like how this is mechanical. I know the Elite controller has it, it's all software controlled. These buttons right here, they're actually for changing the different profiles you can set, so you can customize your profiles and quickly switch between them for the resistance and how each of the joysticks feel. All right, so the release button right here, it looks like, oh, there we go. It's hard to get to, but once you do, it releases off this cover right here. Lift up this lever and the module just slides right out. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. So if you get Joy-Con drift, you can just replace one of these guys, which aren't that expensive. I think they're less than 20 bucks, so it's not too much. So let's put that back in, which is pretty straightforward. Put the cover back on. It takes a second, and there we go. All right, so there we have it, the DualSense Edge controller. This was just an unboxing, kind of my first impressions of the build quality, which looks pretty good. I would say one of the things I don't like is the fact that you can't replace the D-pad. Also, changing the joysticks right here and the buttons, they're pretty simple. I mean, once you get used to it, but the Elite controller, I think is a little bit easier, a little bit more, you know, quick. It feels effortless on that controller, but this isn't too bad. I like the fact that they made it very similar in dimensions to the regular DualSense, because that is a good controller, and this of course has all the features, the haptic feedback, as well as the adaptive triggers. One thing I would be interesting to find out about is the battery life, which I'll be testing out for this as well, how comparing, you know, to this controller. I'll also compare it to the PS4 controller, kind of to get a sense of how Sony progresses through, you know, what is acceptable battery life. But that's it for today's video. It was just unboxing. Let me know in the comments what you think of this controller, and be on the lookout for a more detailed review of the DualSense Edge.